How will Mr. Kavanaugh shape the High Court? Well, let's ask attorney Misty Maris and the senior legal fellow for the Heritage Foundation, Hans von Spakovsky. Thank you both for being here. Misty, let me get with you. Okay, so he's conservative. There's a more leaning to the right on this court. If we listen to the critics and those that were so upset about his appointment, you know, Roe versus Wade is going to be overturned.
See, I just don't think that that's the case. And the reason is, as part of the conservative principles is a belief in stare decisis and upholding precedent.
Right.
And we heard Judge Kavanaugh say that during the course of his confirmation hearing. So to say that that's an absolute is just not true. What we're going to see, there's certainly a conservative majority on the court, but we're going to see being held to the text of the Constitution and to not have a judge as a legislator, but the judges to act in that unbiased role to uphold the Constitution as opposed to an activist.
What a concept. Hans, let me bring you in. He replaces, of course, Justice Kennedy. How does he differ? How does that reshape the way the court acts?
Well, I actually agree with Misty. The problem with Kennedy was that he was an inconsistent conservative. In the majority of cases, he agreed with the other conservative judges. He was the key fifth vote often on things, for example, upholding the First Amendment. He was the key fifth vote in First Amendment cases, too, siding with the conservatives. The minority of cases where he went with the liberals were on what I would call politically correct social issues. And I think that's where you may see the difference in the future. I think Justice Kavanaugh is going to be a more consistent constitutionalist or a conservative who votes not with the liberal justices, but with the more conservative justices on the court.
Would you agree with that, Misty?
I would. I think he's going to be a consistent conservative voice on the court, and we know that because he has a track record, right? We were able to go through his decisions and his long history and his long career to see where he might go. But I do think that he will uphold those principles, which he said he would during the course of his hearing, which is to respect the precedent that already exists.
So not the Armageddon that we're led to believe by those who fought his nomination?
No, I hardly think it's the world is going to end. I think we're going to see just a conservative bend on the court. And it's true, without Kennedy, there's not that swing vote that we formerly had, although some say Roberts could really take that role to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's no guarantee, is he? We don't know. Hans, let me get back to you. You said, I was reading your notes, and you said he'll also act, we're talking about Mr. Kavanaugh, his refusal to create imaginary rights that fit the progressive mindset. Like what? What do you mean by that?
Well, for example, Justice Kennedy was the key vote in the Obendorfer case. That was the case that created gay marriage. And there they recognized a right that frankly is not in the Constitution, and they took it away, the decision on whether to recognize gay marriage, they took it away from the states. The states had always had the prerogative of deciding the marriage laws in this country, and it was being decided through the democratic process. Some states were starting to recognize it, others weren't, and yet the court suddenly stepped in and said, by judicial fiat, we're creating this right.
Does he change the topic on gay rights, Brett Kavanaugh, Misty?
See, I don't think so, because if I had a crystal ball, I would say that, again, we're going to see that respect for precedent. What we might see is narrowing some of these decisions with cases that are going to come up through the court. I don't predict a full upheaval of some of these cases that are now the law of the land.
We'll have to leave it there. We'll find out, I guess. Misty and Hans, thank you so much for joining us.